years, and we just keep growing and growing and growing, and we thought it's about time to have a little bit of a celebration. So wanted to let you know that we've been working here for the last 4 or 5 years trying to get some attention from the CLA, the Contemporary Long Rifle Association. And I talked when I was back there with Mark Silver, and I've talked with Ron Scott over the telephone. And getting those guys west of the Mississippi is just about impossible. It's terra incognito out here. There's just no way. We don't exist. Well, this year we are fortunate enough to have a designated representative of the CLA, and hopefully a future member of our guild, in Steve Garby. And so Steve's got here today representing the CLA, and I thought it would only be appropriate for him to have the opportunity to make a few remarks. So Steve, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I had been in contact with Bill a little bit, mainly because Dan had kind of said, hey, you need to come to Bozeman and see what these guys are doing. And, you know, it's always been a thing with the guys out west and the guys back east. We've got a few transients, Randy Cochran, kind of go back and forth, but you know, people out here, especially this year, why would you want to go to Lexington, Kentucky when it's 100 degrees and 90% humidity? But everything, especially in the long rifle culture, and especially since the CLA has started up and really promoted that, has taken place back east. So I mentioned to Bill, I said, you know, you guys are having this deal going on, and maybe we could get something that kind of bridged between the Western people that are interested in long rifles and what's going on with the CLA. So I think, Bill, you guys, as the corporation, joined the CLA, which was a great move. And Alan Howeller, who's been one of the prime movers and shakers in the CLA, and I think that's pretty fair to say, don't you?
Absolutely.
You know, he's one of the principals at Wyoming Armory, and of course I'm talking to him a lot. And I said, hey, Alan, you know, we ought to figure out a way to kind of tie these two outfits together, and if we can't be in the same physical location, at least we can kind of do some things back and forth. So he said, hey, that's a great idea. And he said, what'd you have in mind? And I said, well, I don't know. You know, if we have some kind of, maybe we need some kind of recognition for any individuals out here that have promoted the long rifle culture, the whole historical end of the long rifle deal. And he said, well, we do an award back there, and it's called the Pioneer Award, and it recognizes people that have made a considerable contribution to the continuation of the art form and the continuation of the long rifle culture. So Alan really wanted to be here. But those of us that know Alan really well, he's got a nickname called Many Irons. And that's because this guy has got more stuff going on than Carter's got liver pills, I'll tell you. So I was not surprised at all about 2 weeks ago when he says, well, I'm just not going to be able to make it. And he asked me if I'd come out and represent. And so he said, I'll send you out, you know, the text and stuff that we usually do when we have the Pioneer Award. So I'd like to read that, and that's Alan would be saying this if he was here, so let me start with that. And Bill, could you grab maybe that award, and I'll just run through this, and we'll do this. But I got to say personally, and I think I'm speaking for Robbie and Tony and a lot of the guys in Wyoming, I'm very impressed with what you guys have been doing here. Very impressed with your organization. Very impressed with the whole layout. I mean, I was not expecting this in the slightest, and I've had a great time. And it's, you know, it doesn't just happen, because we put on enough rifle matches to know that, you know, it takes a lot of work from a lot of people to make something like this happen. So very good, very good. So let me run through this. This was what Alan sent to me that he wanted to have read for this presentation of this. This is an artist proof of the American Rifleman by David Wright. I think one of David's best prints. You know, he captured something in that guy's face that is just You know, really, especially in times like we're experiencing now. Not to get too political, but that picture really says something to me. So let me get on with this. It is with great pleasure that I announce the recipient of the 2010 Chairman's Award for the Contemporary Long Rifle Foundation. Now, the foundation is the money-making wing, and kind of I think it's kind of the boss of the CLA is what it's all about. This award is known as the Pioneer Award. Pioneer Award is presented to an individual who has paved the way for the study of the American long rifle through the education, the promotion of the heritage, and the use of the muzzleloading rifle. Builders of the contemporary muzzleloading rifle are required to acquaint themselves with the tools and technique used by the pioneer gunsmiths to build a beautiful, useful, and reliable weapon. This firearm was the mainstay of the frontiersmen, not just for gathering food, but for the protection of life, family, and property. As such, the long rifle is truly the most important tool shaping our American heritage. It is with great pleasure that we recognize one such man, Mr. Don King.
Hey!
Because of my good luck.
All right, Alan goes on to say, Don has been building, using, and promoting the heritage of the long rifle for many decades. His influence has given the culture of the long rifle many great contemporary examples of the firearm which helped shape our great country. Please accept this print on behalf of the Contemporary Long Rifle Association and the Contemporary Long Rifle Foundation as a token of our recognition to you and your considerable accomplishments. And I have to say that knowing Don, I was privileged to know Don when I was just a young buck.
15.
And I was interested in long rifles.
He liked my beer.
But Don truly taught me a lot and pointed me in the right direction. So this is really special.
You know, I owe this to so many people. Carney I've known since 1959. I've known Dan since 1968 when I loaned him my capote because he walked into the creek. I've known Steve since he was 15 and the guy shot at us from about 700 yards away and we were all in the middle of it. And I was blown away by this award. I owe this to so many people. I was encouraged by so many people that I did not recognize my skills as anything except God-given. I was born with hands that worked. I was born with eyes that could see contours out of a flat picture. I was fortunate enough and privileged enough to know people like Red Ferris and Bill Large and Claude Turner and his wife Bertie, who was the best offhand shot I ever saw. She was built like a bell, like this, and she'd stand up there and shoot and put the same bullet through the same hole time after time, 50 yards. And I just didn't know what else to say. Thank you so much.